Welcome to the very first episode of Sci Gals.
Whoa!
Today we're going to go to a very special location.
Cue the intro.
The Marine Science Center is a very special place, not just for people, but for animals as well. But before we get into that, let's discuss the history of this amazing place. The Marine Science Center is part of a dune system, and as you can see, is located in a sandy environment. In the 1920s, the land was planned to be developed to establish buildings, including a hotel. These plans weren't enacted due to the stock market crash of 1929. The area consists of about 50 plus acres of land. For years, the land was not in use, but had been set up to build establishments, even containing designs for roads. The area was called Lighthouse Point Park. Late 1970s to early 1980s, Volusia County purchased the land, which later became state-owned land. The land is under preservation, which is why there is no bridge built between the inlet. The area began being used for education, such as eco-walkthroughs. The center was established through an idea to have a center where people could get educated about the environment and the animals inhabiting the area, and also a rehabilitation center to help injured marine life.
The main goals for obtaining the land are primarily for education and rehabilitation of wildlife, which are all things that the center has achieved.
The Marine Science Center has many relationships with outside organizations. They have a contract with the University of Florida for assistance with veterinary services, which is a huge help for the amount of injured sea turtles that arrive. Also, they provide experience for students from the University of Florida who major in aquatic medicine by allowing them to treat injured marine life. The center also works with Daytona State College, where members of the staff hold lectures, and they are partnered with Stetson and Valencia College as well. They work with various middle schools and elementary schools as a part of education for the students, and they are a part of the Volusia Shoulder Partnership.
The Marine Science Center is maintained through the combined efforts of employees and volunteers who work either in the Turtle Hospital, the gift shop, or the Bird Sanctuary. Mangroves are typically found in tropical locations and thrive in waters that are up to 100 times saltier than other plants can tolerate. There are about 80 named species so far in the world and come in a variety of sizes, ranging from bushes to 60-meter tall trees. Their roots are very unique in that they stick out of the ground like stilts that are called aerial roots. These roots help to support the trees in the loose sandy soil. Now, you see those white spots on the roots? No, those aren't Trees-its. They're actually called lenticels, and they help collect oxygen for the mangrove. Their seeds are also pretty interesting. Just try to imagine tiny little spears that fall off of the mangrove tree, stab the ground, and form new trees. Yikes. Red bay trees are often found in hammocks, sandy hills, and scrub areas. Their leaves, especially when crushed, emit a very unique fragrance and are very glossy. They're super pretty. Unfortunately, their fruit isn't as fortunate. They start out green, but then eventually they shrivel and turn black. Ugh. They normally grow in areas that have little shade and have a pretty good tolerance for drought. But alas, tragedy has struck our beloved bays. Oh! Due to an invasive species called the ambrosia beetle, most have died due to a fungal infection that the beetle spread, called, dun dun dun, laurel wilt. Now, ambrosia beetle and laurel wilt sound cool and all, but not so much for the trees. The ambrosia beetles are a native species of Japan that arrived on shipping crates that were brought over here to the States. The beetles are first attracted by the pleasant aroma of the red bay. Then, like something out of a horror movie, they burrow into the tree's wood where they lay their eggs, which is how the vicious fungus is able to spread so quickly. Thanks, Japan. Thanks a lot. Now, live oak trees are a staple here in the South. These are some pretty huge trees. They can grow up to 150 feet in diameter. They also have a really long lifespan, with some trees living up to 70 years. According to the info I found on these trees, it said that their flowers aren't as vibrant and showy as any of the other plants here, but I don't know, guys. These are some pretty nice looking flowers. I mean, look at that green! Unlike our last tree, live oaks can grow in some pretty shady places. I'm looking at you, Tina, you shady. Like most southern plants, these trees don't do so well in the chilly weather. One creature that greatly depends on these trees are the scrub jays. Live oaks can help provide an area for these little blue birdies to nest. Aww. As the name implies, seagrass and marsh grass aren't the kind of grasses you'd find on your lawn. They're actually found in the big blue. Like all true plants, these are able to produce flowers and, in extension, seeds. They can be found in the open ocean and in marshes. These marine grasses can actually provide their own ecosystems by sheltering smaller organisms. Animals such as clams, crabs, lobsters, oysters, and small fish find their home in these grasses. The species of these grasses that live off the Gulf of Mexico include stargrass, turtle grass, and manatee grass. No, not that kind of manatee grass. Now we're going to talk about marine algae. Yeah! Now, these guys have been around for a long time, and I mean a long time. It was only recently that these plants were placed into the kingdom Protista. While they are not true plants, they still maintain some of the same qualities as plants. They do actually contain chlorophyll within them, which enables these non-plants to carry out the process of photosynthesis, or the ability to convert sun rays into sugar. They lack other features of true plants, however, such as true roots, leaves, and such. Algae is most commonly seen in the form of seaweed and sargassum, which is the unfortunate ugly relative of seaweed. It's kind of like that one family member you never invite to the reunion because, ugh. But alas, sargassum is useful in providing shelter for smaller marine animals.
And now we're going to discuss sharks, rays, and skates. The Marine Science Center is home to a magnificent 13-foot touch tank to educate people about rays and sharks. With a 2-finger touch, we are able to touch and experience these rays and sharks on a whole new level. Stingrays, also known as the flappy pancake of the sea, are commonly found in the shallow waters on the coast of warm seas. The stingray's white belly and gray back is a form of camouflage. When they are seen from above, they blend in with the darkness beneath them, and when they are seen from below, they blend in with the brightness from the sun. They move around by flapping their sides like wings. Stingrays mostly eat mollusks like clams, oysters, and mussels. You go, flappy pancake, you go. The mini jaws in the tank is the smooth dogfish shark, or more commonly known as the nurse shark. But unlike jaws, this species of shark has rows of flat, grinding teeth rather than the sharp blade-like teeth other sharks have. These teeth help the shark to eat crustaceans and mollusks by crushing and chewing them. By touching the smooth dogfish and comparing it to the stingray, we are able to discover its dermal denticles, which are like scales on a shark's skin. Not so smooth after all, huh?
Commercial!
Sharks gone wild! Even wilder than before! Order now and receive a special bonus! Stingrays gone wild! To order, call 1-111-1111. That's 1-111-1111. Side effects may include extreme awesomeness, paleness, loss of teeth, and a sudden extreme attraction to sharks. Watch with caution. This is the green moray eel. Did you know it's actually brown? The green appearance is caused by the yellow mucus that covers its body. They have muscular, scaleless bodies and are often mistaken for sea serpents. They are sedentary predators, which means rather than hunting for food, they wait for their food to come to them. One of the biggest reasons why the green moray eel is feared is the fact that they open and close their mouths out of habit, showing off those strong, sharp teeth. The reason why they do this is so they can take in water to breathe. The water goes over the gills and comes out of the vents at the back of its head. They feed mostly on fish, crabs, shrimp, octopuses, and squid, and they do this at night. They also have 2 sets of jaws to eat their prey. That is double the nope for me. They are one of the largest species of morays. They can grow up to 8 feet long and 65 pounds. Remember, these eels may seem big and scary, but in reality, they are just angry snot monsters. Another species of the moray eel is the viper moray eel, but we like to call him Bitey McSnaggletooth. We also have this cutie snoot, the chain-link moray eel, who lives in the Living Reef exhibit. The Living Reef exhibit is home to the Florida Recordia. The green Recordia florida is very popular for the lush green ambiance they create in an aquarium. This amazing species does not have a skeleton and is anatomically similar to corals. This exhibit is also home to a variety of soft corals, stony corals, anemones, zoanthids, and even Gorgonian coral, which is named after the Gorgon Medusa of Greek mythology. You know, the creepy snake lady who turns people into stone? Some of the fish that inhabit this exhibit are the harlequin bass and the cocoa damsel, though there are more fish we do not have time to discuss right now. But here is a green sea urchin!
Yeah!
Oh, what a lovely day it is to be a hamster. I'm so happy to be alive. Wait, what was that?
The brown pelican is a comically elegant bird that inhabits salt bays, beaches, and oceans, but mostly shallow waters along the coast. The herring gull is a pink-legged, gray and white quintessential seagull. These large, abundant birds are widespread and are the most familiar gulls in the Northeast. The red-shouldered hawk is a hawk of the woodlands and is often heard before it is seen. More popular than its cousin, the red-tailed hawk. This is the most widespread and most well-known hawk in North America. This bird is well known for its distinct call. We also have our smallest falcon, the American kestrel. Kestrels eat large insects, small mammals, and even other birds up to the size of a quail. Some individual kestrels hunt particular kinds of prey. And here we have 2 freedoms perched side by side. The bald eagle is the only eagle that is unique to North America, which is why it is a classic symbol of American freedom. Freedom.
Freedom all up in here.
Sharon, what the fuck was that? This is the hooty fluffernutter, properly known as the eastern screech owl. It is a robin-sized owl that is actually very common in shady suburbs. Who would have known we have an owl for a neighbor? This owl eats mostly large insects and small rodents, and they forage during the nighttime. This is the great horned owl. His name is Bubba. Great horned owls like Bubba are found all throughout North America and most of South America. They hunt at night, and sometimes at dusk for small animals and even other birds. The Marine Science Center is also home to many reptiles, such as snakes and turtles. This is the Florida pine snake. And here we have the box turtle. And outside, we also have gopher tortoises. But what the Marine Science Center is really known for is its Sea Turtle Hospital. In Turtle Terrace, they rescue injured or sick sea turtles and nurse them back to health. They receive cases as simple as buoyancy problems and as severe as propeller victims. Here, we have an interview with one of the Marine Science Center's marine veterinarians.
Turtles around right now. This turtle, this loggerhead here, just came in a couple days ago from Ormond Beach, and it was washed up on the beach. But it, when we got it in, its blood work wasn't terrible. It was slightly anemic, but not nearly what we usually see. In decent body condition, so we were kind of not really sure. Well, when we put it in the water, it was immediately floating, left side up. Really bad left side up. But what we did was yesterday, and we saw like an algae pattern when it was dry dock still that indicated that it had been floating kind of crooked. So we were kind of expecting that when we put him in the water. But yesterday what we did is we did a celomic tap where we turn the animal over, and since they don't have a diaphragm, basically if they get any extra air in their body cavity, they can only absorb so much of it. And so when they get a pneumothorax from numerous different reasons, that air can just get stuck in there. So we ended up tapping off over 6 liters of air, and we got him in the water and he sank right away. Now there's a little bit that, probably it was in, that settled, that didn't, but if we feel like if we do that a couple times, it doesn't seem like there's an active lung tear anymore. So the lung tears can heal up really quickly, and then, if they can have a way to get all that air out, it can resolve.
So you'll aspirate
Yeah,
several times.
so we'll try that
And
again.
you'll let the position in the water.
Yeah, and then, obviously, probably he's got a little bit of digestive gas too from the x-rays, but what seemed to be the majority of his buoyancy issue was that pneumothorax, and it caused that extra air in the body cavity. So, yeah. So now he's a little bit, and it changes throughout the day now, which tells us that there's not a lot of air, but that was one of the reasons we didn't send him down to Miami, was that if we can resolve that pneumothorax quickly, he was in good body condition, his blood work wasn't that bad, so we figured he'd probably only be a couple weeks, so there's no point in sending him all the way to Miami to have to come back for release a couple weeks later, hopefully.
So he's on antibiotics as well.
Yes, just for the immune system to make sure everything, there's no infection going on. He's on fluids and antibiotics. His glucose was low the first day because, again, when they're floating irregularly, they struggle a lot. So they're burning off all that blood sugar that that they need just to get up for a breath. And then when they're floating, they can't get to food. So he's a little underweight, but I think that'll resolve quickly. We offered him some mackerel yesterday, and he didn't go for it right away, but then once he was more comfortable in the water, he seemed interested. So.
The Science Center takes in multiple turtles every week. As of April 2016, the Marine Science Center had already taken in more than 60 sea turtles that year. Turtle Day occurs once a year in April to spread awareness and raise money for the center and the animals who reside there. Thousands of people attend this event to support the cause, learn, and just have fun. There are vendors who come from different organizations in the area with some fun activities for the children, like coloring or making seashell necklaces. They also had food and live music, but the best part of all was the Sea Turtle Hospital. Here you can purchase a plush sea turtle and give him or her a name and bring it to the hospital to get a diagnosis. The veterinarians and techs will examine your turtle, even give him an x-ray. And once they have a diagnosis, they will bandage it up and make sure to give it plenty of fluids before sending it home with you for a smooth recovery.
All in all, the Marine Science Center is truly a magnificent place for learning, family, and fun alike. Through their fantastic programs, the staff at MSC really work towards educating the public about the various animals that live in our seas, and they do an excellent job of doing so.
Well, that was quite an eventful day, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, Petunia. Well, remember, kids, take a bite out of science, but don't let science take a bite out of you. See you later, alligators!
Consider the following.